All right, welcome back. It's Thursday edition of Stop the Steal TV. Yeah, Liquid Lunch is still on, baby. And guess what? It's been a long time and I'm barely breathing. We're still here. We're rocking and rolling. We're inside Max Public House in Staten Island. The autonomous zone is open for business, by the way. The miserable pharaohs and tax collectors have left. They packed up shop, put their tail between their legs, and went away. We'll see if they come back, and I'm sure Danny and Keith will have plenty of resistance ready for them if they do come back. But in the meantime, let's go to some national news. While the governor and the mayor here in New York are trying to steal small businesses, many people think that the election results were not exactly fair. Many in the mainstream media, of course, want to call these conspiracies and other nonsense. But we like all voices to be heard here on Liquid Lunch. So what we're going to do is this. We bring in now Dan Gilleon. He's a great civil rights attorney. He's a Democratic strategist. And Dan, when Ron Klain was Al Gore's attorney way back in 2000, he had a completely different point of view than he does now. His arguments to the state court in Florida were that we needed to keep counting until we got a free and fair result in the election. And now many on the left are saying that we got to stop counting and recounting, that it's over and Donald Trump should concede. I'd love to hear your views on that comparison.
I haven't heard anybody say that we should stop counting, or recounting. If the law allows for recounts, recount. By the way, Trump isn't doing better with recounts. He's not really doing better at all.
No. Let's not even get into that yet. What I'm asking you is this. When you say you haven't heard anyone say stop counting, that's not true, because many on the left are vilifying Donald Trump for not conceding. So I find hypocrisy in that when Al Gore was allowed to pursue all his options for 37 days, and Donald Trump now, everyone's saying what a horrible individual he is because he won't step down after 2.5 weeks, and we don't even have every state certified. So I think the comparison is there, that there shouldn't be hypocrisy like that.
People are saying that Donald Trump is a horrible person for a lot more reasons than what's going on right now. Okay, but first, I don't, as far as recounts, that's a matter of state law. There's a recount or there isn't. So stop counting whatever. I haven't heard anybody say stop counting if it's a legal recount, right? You didn't switch the issue, though, to whether or not he should concede. And, again,
well, when you say concede to someone, then that means you're saying, please stop recounting and give up. That's the way I see it. I'm not an attorney, you are, so you probably parse words better than me. But when you say concede, there is a echo across all mainstream media. Donald Trump should be conceding the peaceful transition of power. So that means stop counting. Enough is enough. Step down.
Sure, he should concede because reality is one thing, but then we know that Donald Trump has an alternative reality, which, by the way, benefits him financially because he keeps sending out these fund requests, and he's making bank off of these conspiracy theories. But that aside, there are norms in our country when it comes to presidential norms. Those are very important because they are kind of like the glue that sticks together our entire democracy, because our Constitution doesn't tell people how to act every single day. They don't, there's no manual there that says this is how to be president. So what we have are presidential norms. Now, norms are important, and they're very important, and he has obliterated those. So that's the problem. Okay, that's the problem. Yes, he should concede because reality says he lost. All right, we know that. He knows.
So you don't think, as an attorney, I'm sure that you fight for your clients as hard as anyone. You don't think he should exhaust all options before conceding. You think he should just bow down to norms when we're in quite an abnormal time right now.
No. Norms are not saying act like everybody else. I'm saying norms are important. Now, I don't have time right now to get into what the difference between norms and saying act normal, all right? But he should concede because there's a thing called reality, all right? Now, there's also a law saying that you have a right to a recount, all right? He can do the recounts, right? He can go ahead and do it, because that's helping him raise money. And that's what he wants to do. And all of his supporters out there are saying, hey, listen, you know, I want to get money here because I really don't like the feeling I have inside of me that says that we, so I'm going to buy anything this snake oil salesman says. And I'm going to send money so he says more of it because it makes me feel good. Fine. Two different issues. Count, do your whatever, but be a man and concede. You know, I look at this the same way I look at,
you know, you're telling me about switching the topic. You're saying from a legal perspective, exhaust all options, do your recounts if they're legally allowed. The president's paying for them, so I find it strange that you're talking about taking all this money in, but they actually have to pay to get these recounts.
200 million, 10 million for the.
If you go through all options, then this isn't the time to concede, is it?
I mean, his overhead is 10 million for the recounts. He generates 200 million. You know, I think that's a great business decision. But bottom line here is, I'm saying that if he has any evidence of fraud, which we know he doesn't, or if he wants the recounts aren't going his way, and he's already with the recounts as they are, Biden's already obtained the electoral votes he needs. This what's happening here is Don the con is continuing to con here. And if you look at the money, you will see that all he's doing is giving reason for people to send in money for this charade he calls fighting the election. The reason he's onto the recounts, and the reason you're talking about recounts right now, is because the whole idea of voter fraud failed. So now we don't want to talk about voter fraud.
Wait, you think it failed?
Because there's no evidence of voter fraud.
Well, no. I mean, I know you're an attorney, but it's not a reasoned point of view to use the word no evidence, right? I mean, even although the mainstream media says that's what Bill Barr said, even Bill Barr didn't say that. He said we have substantial evidence to change the result of the election, but you do agree there is some evidence, right?
Well, there's evidence of voter fraud. Yeah, I mean,
there is. Okay, hang on. I ring the bell when Democrats and Republicans agree. So there is some evidence. Thank you.
Some evidence of voter fraud. Yes, I will. You know what, I see it, but I assume that somebody has committed fraud out there. But when in the law, we talk about what's material evidence, what's relevant evidence. And if someone came into court and they said, I want to now introduce evidence that there was voter fraud in Topeka once, the judge would say, inadmissible because it's not relevant, it's not germane, it's not material. We're not going to waste the jury's time hearing about this because it's a waste of time and you're just whining about a guy in Topeka. So that is what the law is all about. And as a trial attorney, this is what I deal with, unfortunately. I have a group of people, 12 people there, they're jurors, and oftentimes I see that the defense attorney is trying to kind of bamboozle them with easy arguments that they already believe. Oh, these guys, these plaintiffs lawyers are so greedy. They're out there trying to make money off of this. And, that's what this is all about. It isn't the fact that we just destroyed this guy's life and broke every bone in his body. This is all about money and the greedy lawyers. Well, sometimes that has an effect on a few people in the jury panel. And, it's frustrating for a trial attorney like me to hear the other side use these kind of moronic arguments because they know that one or two people will buy into it. But that's what we're doing in our society right now.
Okay, so the Pennsylvania Secretary of State posted some election night statistics on their own website that said they mailed out 1.8 million ballots, mail-in ballots, and they counted a total of 2.5 million mail-in ballots. So how can we explain that as insignificant voter fraud?
Did Pennsylvania come back and say that Trump won or Biden won?
Well, I don't think they've said anything yet.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. I mean,
I asked you a simple thing. You said you see inconsequential voter fraud. I'm saying the Secretary of State himself said we sent out 1.8 mail-in ballots and we received back 2.5 million, 660,000 votes that no one can explain where they came from. Is that something to be looked into?
No one can explain. I mean, John, what you're saying there, just those facts right there, that requires an investigation. But
Ah, okay.
here's 3 more facts on top of that, people will be like, oh, okay. So I don't know. I mean, let me know more about what you're talking about. But you're talking about. It sounds like you're talking about 700,000 like votes that were somehow printed by somebody somewhere and
Oh,
mailed
wait,
in.
no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying they said they sent out 1.8. They got back 2.5. So 600,000 is in flux right now. All right. We had a good spirited debate. I respect your point of view. And I wish you the best of luck. Hopefully we'll have you back on again to have some thoughtful conversation, Dan. Thank you very much. Dan Gilleon, Democratic strategist, civil rights attorney. Really want to thank you for joining us today. Thanks, Dan.